right, so if we were to get into this a little bit, before we even are approaching a mindfulness practice, I guess there's some things that we can do to already sort of get ourselves on the way. So, whether it's financial stress or something else, what happens when we're stressing about something is we keep going around in a loop, around in circles in the mind. I don't know if that feels familiar to anyone when something's really on your mind and you just are constantly trying to problem solve and work it out. And, we're naturally problem solving people. That's kind of what the mind does. So we're always going to look for the mistake, and we're always going to look for how to make the situation better. So when we're in that process, we've got to figure out what are the ways, first of all, that we engage with that material rather than try to push it away by saying, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. I don't, this is wrong and I need to clear my head and, there's no reason for me to not be able to sleep right now. So when we approach in that type of attitude, we're actually giving power to those thoughts. We're engaging in this fight. And so rather than that, what about journaling? What about finding a way to, sometimes once these things are out on paper and they take physical form, or we've worked through them on the computer, or we've done like a worksheet to sort of bring us down the road a little bit, this kind of helps the process. Imagining the idea of making a budget or doing something where you write down your list of pros and cons. This is a way that when these thoughts start circling around in the mind again, we can just look back to that piece of paper and go, okay, I've already figured out that these are the actions that I can take. These are the positive things that I can do to work towards having my needs met. And these are the things that I actually can't change and I can't do anything about. And so that's what I need to kind of work on accepting. So yeah, having it all out on paper, it's a bit of a start. I don't know if anyone keeps a journal. Like, does anyone here keep a journal? If you want to chime in about, how it's helpful to you, or what types of things you like to put in your journal, how you get things out of your head, or if anybody keeps a budget or has specific programs that they use for budgeting. So that's all kind of things that get us started. I know it sounds basic, right? But once we've done that, it helps us to kind of get it out of the head and into a concrete element. So what I brought up before around choose your battles, this is actually really important. The first point, avoid inner turmoil. This idea is that, okay, so let's say you're experiencing financial stress. Then you're angry at yourself for having anxiety. You start to get annoyed and you can't sleep. So now you're upset that you can't sleep. And now everything just goes bonkers and we're in tears, right? So we have added 4 different emotions on top of what our original problem was, because we haven't had the self-compassion to be able to accept that we're feeling that way and that those feelings are allowed and that those feelings are accepted and that they can be understood. So, if I'm in that place where things are challenging and I am experiencing some issues around finance, it's allowable for me to feel that down about it. It's allowable for me to feel stressed about it. And even though it seems counterintuitive, by making peace with these feelings, by accepting them, by giving them a hug, we actually lessen the amount of inner turmoil than when we try to deny them and push them away. So another way of kind of choosing the right battles is to connect with your values. So when we become clear about what our values are, and what we want from life and who we want to be on this planet, then sometimes that also helps us to, some of the stressors fall away. So for example, you know, maybe some of the financial stress is caused by feeling like I need to impress other people around me or do better to, show off to my community or my family or these things, or I need to catch up to my brother because him and his wife already own a home and I don't own a home yet. Maybe those things that you are trying to act out in life aren't actually aligned with the true values of who you are as a person. So through this process of kind of connecting with your values, you might find that some of those stressors or some of those things that you're trying to be and trying to accomplish in the world, they might actually not quite seem as important anymore. So yeah, I guess this is a way that we're kind of going through and weeding out the different conversations that are happening in the head and figuring out which ones are necessary and which ones maybe we can let go of. All right, so what is mindfulness? Does anybody have, experience with mindfulness? Does anybody have their idea of what mindfulness is? Anything that they want to punch into the chat about, what mindfulness means to them? That's fine. That's all welcome. I think it's important for us to make a separation between someone who is practicing mindfulness for the sake of connecting with the present moment and someone who is on a spiritual journey where they're doing a lot of meditation, living in an ashram and all of that stuff. Because I think that sometimes people feel, the idea of meditation or doing a meditation, it conjures up this idea of kind of like the, old guy with dreadlocks in the cave somewhere just sitting and doing meditation. And, we really want to get away from that. We really want to get away from this idea that, this is something that's kind of unattainable or that's for your super spiritual people. Anybody can access mindfulness, and it's actually just like a soothing nap for the nervous system in a lot of ways, in the same way that when we sleep, we activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is soothing. We do that even more so when we meditate. So you know how good it feels to kind of have a nap in the day. So this is in the same way that as we build up stress in the body, naturally we're out in the world, we're being vigilant, we have things that we have to do, we have timelines, we have all this stuff. It's natural that we build up stress in the body. The kidneys and the adrenals, they work together producing cortisol. It spreads throughout the body. And we drink coffee, our liquid anxiety, and, all of these things, right? So taking this moment to soothe the nervous system can really be transformative. Yeah, exactly. Disconnect, disengage just for a few minutes. So this moment of connecting with the present moment, it literally can be a transformative through how you're going to approach the rest of your day. I mean, I did so just before I came into this. I was feeling a little nervous this morning, going to be talking to a bunch of people. Just taking that 5 minutes can really land. So all we're talking about here is guiding your attention. So this is also giving us practice. Like practicing mindfulness gives us practice for being in control of where our thought process is going in other parts of the day. So the more we practice this, then the more we're able to, in that moment where we're experiencing financial stress or any other kind of stress, the more we're able to say, oh, I've got that tool that I can access. And now I'm able to just calm my nervous system back down and get ready to go forward into the rest of my day. So one point here is allowing distractions. And I feel like some people might be going, that seems strange. So what I mean by that is that Just like I talked about before, this idea of inner turmoil and whether we engage or not. So, also when we're engaging with mindfulness, sometimes there's thoughts and they just keep coming, and we're really wanting to practice allowing that. There's something that happens, I think, for a lot of us when we try to meditate or practice mindfulness, where we can get really frustrated by the thoughts that are coming and we're really trying to push them away. Just allowing them, it's okay. The more we focus on guiding the attention where we want it to go, and rather than grasping onto those thoughts and really noticing that they're there and giving them our attention, then slowly over time, they all just melt away on their own. We don't need to fight against them. We don't need to engage them. We don't need to give them power. Just guiding our attention where we want it to go, trying to connect with the present moment. So there are quite a few different styles of mindfulness, and everybody has their own thing that they connect with that works really well for them. Body scan is really great for me. That basically means going through different parts of the body and sort of guiding the attention inwards, of the calming process of connecting with the body. It's really helpful when it comes to connecting with the present moment. Five senses can be, touching the fingers together to experience that sensation, focusing on that sensation, choosing three things to listen to in the room, picking out three sounds you can find, and then actually just allowing them to blend together. Even picking objects on your desk. Sometimes I'll be between sessions and I'll just pick a few objects on my desk, describe one at a time. This object is brass and tall, and it feels like it would be slippery and cold to touch. It's heavy, and there's light coming out of the top of it, and it's illuminating my face right now so I can be seen. So you see how I didn't really say what the object was. The idea is more connecting with the abstract elements, really taking it in. Like, you're a scientist in this moment who is experiencing this for the first time, who is ready to tell the rest of the world about this thing that you've discovered. How can we really truly be in the present moment? This is the idea here. With breath-based techniques, which is also very bodily, being aware of the breath as it goes in and out of the body. A loving kindness is kind of a compassion-based meditation that really goes first into self-compassion and then compassion for others, and kind of it's a lot about sort of connecting, feeling connected to your community and to your world, and seeing how, sometimes it's easier to have compassion for others than it is for yourself, or vice versa. So it's an interesting one to explore. There's also a lot of you're imagining yourself sitting on a beach in a faraway place or something. So it's really worth trying out all of these. Sometimes I jump on YouTube and do a little search. You've got to maybe give a few times a try, because sometimes you just don't connect with somebody's voice. Sometimes just the music in the background isn't really right. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has little suggestions of any. I recently discovered an app called Insight Timer that I'll put in here. There's a lot of free meditations there, and once you find somebody that you like, you can find all their different meditations. You can also make donations to them. It's pretty good because there's a lot of different options there. And yeah, so I don't know where you get your meditations from, but feel free to share if it seems right. And we will kind of move towards doing a activity together, if that feels right for everyone. So I guess if people could just settle into their chairs, settle into their spaces, feel free to close your eyes or not. Just allowing yourself to feel heavy. We fight against so many invisible forces throughout the day, and in this moment, just letting gravity win. Just there's just one fight that you can just let go of in this moment. Just let gravity win. Just let yourself be heavy. Let the shoulders fall down and back. Let the legs be heavy, the backside sink into the chair. Put your feet out further in front of you, really allowing yourself to settle in. And just noticing the breath as it goes in and out of the body, how it interacts with the nostrils. What does it feel like on the way in, on the way out? Is it warm? Is it cool? Does it tickle? And focusing in on the shoulders, noticing how the breath makes them rise and fall. And the chest cavity expanding and contracting. Just really noticing the effect of the breath on the body. As we guide our attention all the way down into the feet. And you may feel some distraction coming and going, some thoughts. That's okay, just let them be and guide the attention back into the feet, back into the body. Let it spread through your toes, into your arches, to your heels. With each breath, spreading a little further into your ankles, your calves and your shins, your knees, breathing into the thighs. The whole lower half of your body is settled. With attention, we relieve tension. Just noticing how we don't ask these body parts to relax, but just by paying attention to them, just by focusing on them, they naturally settle. Keep moving up through the hips, into the abdomen. Sometimes we carry tension in the organs. Just breathing into the digestive system, breathing into the kidneys, the seat of the stress hormone, letting them know that in this moment you're safe. Breathing into the liver and the stomach, into the heart and the lungs, working together with every breath. The heart is pumping oxygen from the lungs around the body. Up into the shoulders, just noticing if they've tensed up again, letting them settle. All the way down the arms to the elbows, the hands. Even taking the hands and just rubbing them together a little. Or you can rub them on the tops of your thighs, just creating a little bit of sensation, a little bit of warmth. Just really focusing in on that sensation, like that sensation is everything right now. Allowing the hands to settle into your lap. See if you can still hold on to that sensation. Hold on to that feeling in the hands. It's almost like the hands are glowing with a little electricity. We are engaging with the present moment through the sensation of touch. And focusing our attention into the scalp, almost even letting the hair relax, the forehead, temples, behind the eyes, behind the nose, the jaw. That feels good. And focusing into the ears and to listening. Really listening. You can hear the sound of my voice, maybe some static in the line. can hear anything taking place outside. It's very windy where I am. A bird, a car, a bee. Just taking all these in one by one, and slowly they melt together into one abstract soundscape. Some people use music to connect in this way, but we can do this anytime, anywhere. And slowly opening the eyes, taking your space, but really take it in, like for the first time. Just look around at the colors and the shapes, the abstract experience. So often we just walk through life without really taking it in. Can you stop and smell the roses? Can you really take in everything around you? All right. Now that we've connected with the present moment in a few of these different ways, that also might help you to know what's better for you. The body scan aspect or the more sense-based aspects, the connecting with the breath. Hopefully that little kind of mindfulness variety bag was able to give you an idea of what directions you might like to explore in. So our key takeaways here are, first of all, getting your thoughts organized as a helpful way of taking the storm and just turning it into something solid. Avoid engaging inner turmoil. Explore your personal values. Find a suitable practice. So, maybe that didn't work for you. Maybe it did. Go and explore. Find out what does work for you. And in the end, connect with the present moment. Even if we can get 30 seconds of connecting with the present moment in our day, that really just allows that moment for our nervous system to disconnect and soothe for a moment. So give your nervous system a nap.